For your company. I am Pius Kojobaka. And look now at our stories. And Sunon Asogli Power Limited has announced the shutdown of its operations due to the inability of the Electricity Company of Ghana to pay its $259 million debt. The company, in a statement released today, said it was compelled to shut down on October 8 at 5 p.m. due to the debt. According to the company, the difficult decision was necessitated by its inability to fund its operations because of the failure of the ECG to honor their overdue payment obligations and their various promises. And I'd like to share with you excerpts of the statement from Sunon Asogli right now. And there you go on your screens. It reads, Sunon Asogli Power Limited regret that they have been compelled to suspend operations since Tuesday, 8th October 2024. The shutdown happened at 5 p.m. but that day. Now, the difficulty decision was necessitated by our inability to fund our operations because of the failure of ECG to honor their overdue payment obligations and their various promises to that effect. It goes on to say that Sunon Asogli Power Ghana has over the years been very considerate in its dealings with the ECG and the government, and unlike other independent power producers, has not even invoiced ECG for accrued idle capacity charges. Despite this, ECG owes Sunon Asogli a net excluding fuel receivable amount of $259 million as at the end of September 2024. Our debt has grown by 23% on the net balance between January 2024 and September 2024, and only 22.6% of the invoices for period has been paid by ECG from the cash waterfall mechanism. We deeply regret the impact of this decision on the national power supply. It concludes by saying we expect the Ministry of Finance to intervene for us to return to operations as soon as possible. And this is, of course, signed by its chairman, Chang Yang, there. We shall be having a discussion on the back of that. But let's touch on this story quickly. And some oil marketing companies have started increasing prices of petroleum products at the pumps. There is more in this report.
One of the major players in the industry, Allied, is this morning selling a litre of petrol at 12 Ghana cedis 73 pesos, and diesel is going for 13 Ghana cedis 73 pesos. This represents a marginal increase over the price quotes offered by the oil marketing firm some 2 weeks ago. Our checks with the other major oil marketing firms showed that we should expect more adjustments in the coming days. However, the second biggest oil marketing firm, that is Star Oil, says it is yet to review its prices at the pumps, but there are strong indications that it could hold prices at the current levels. Market leader God is also yet to review prices at the pumps.
So we want to box these stories together and have a thorough conversation on the back of that. And joining us via Zoom is an energy expert, Benjamin Isian, for some conversation on this. Thanks so much, Benjamin, for your time on Business Live. Now, let's start off with the Sunon Asogli situation. $259 million is the amount owed Sunon Asogli by ECG, for which reason they have decided to shut down the operations. Your quick reactions.
Very much, brother. The issue at Sunon Asogli is not new to some of us in the industry because we've always cautioned ECG in terms of its inability to mobilize a lot of revenue to offset its debt, and its inability to mobilize this revenue will always affect these independent power producers, including Sunon Asogli. And I think in January, when the government had an arrangement with some of these power producers, Sunon was not part. And at that time, the amount was around $1.2 million. So I think that the inability of ECG to offset this particular debt is hurting the operations of Sunon. And that is why they are pulling this short. And at this current situation we are in, I don't think ECG has the ability to offset this debt. I don't think government even has the ability to offset this debt. So we only have to go into a negotiation that ensures very trust and assurance. And I think that based on trust and assurance, Sunon Asogli may come back to stream.
And that's interesting to say that, but couldn't this be avoided on the side of government, at least meeting Sunon Asogli halfway through, so that we wouldn't have this situation we are finding ourselves in?
it could have been done, but even the government itself has not even complied with the cash waterfall mechanism since August 2023. And if you look at the cash waterfall mechanism, month on month, the government has not obliged to pay in its part to the state-owned entities as well as the independent power producers. And ECG, as we've all read, is doing less than 50% of revenue is expected to mobilize from the sales of power. So because of this, I think that government is the fault. It's at fault here for not fulfilling this part or not complying with the cash waterfall mechanism, and also not injecting a lot of liquidity into the power space. ECG can't do anything until maybe government reconsiders its decision of diversifying the amount is taken from the World Bank to improve energy sector. That's about $250 million that just came in. Maybe diversifying part of it into settling this debt at Sunon Asogli. If that happens, maybe they may come on stream. But as I indicated earlier, Sunon will need trust and assurance. And based on these two ways, they may also come back to stream to power electricity to
all right. So
various generators and also distributors.
All right, Benjamin, help me understand the impact of this on power supply and how best we can avert a potential looming power crisis going forward.
I think that if, as a country, based on our installed capacity of about 5,000 plus, our dependable of about 4,008, if 500 or is less than 600 megawatt is withdrawn from the power pool, I think that that shouldn't have a problem on power distribution. There should be stable power because already we are producing excess power to supply households and firms. So sudden cutting off shouldn't be a problem. But the challenge is that the other infrastructure that are supposed to produce power are lying idle because some of them might not even have oil or liquid fuel to supply or to generate power, or maybe the thermal side is also not having the necessary natural gas because in recent times, Ghana National Gas Company Limited, its operation at Twabo was not working. So because of that, it will have certain challenge with respect to security of power, that is availability of it, and also the supply of it in terms of the quality of supply of it to our various households and firms. If not, that actually be that we can do. In recent times have signed certain contracts with government where they are supposed to purchase their own fuel and also supply this fuel to their generators to generate power to the transmitters and also get to the distributors. So and dialogue will solve this particular issue in the shortest possible time.
All right, Benjamin, I'll ask you to hold on for me as we also look at this very story we've been following up for viewers, which has happened to be the fuel prices at the pumps. And we've been recording some increases at the various pumps by some OMCs. Now, I want to find out from you, in what ways are these global price fluctuations affecting fuel prices on the international market we are witnessing?
Yes, I think that this year has been a very good year for most fuel consumers in the sense that for the first time in about 3 years, there's a lot of surplus of oil on the international market compared to the demand of it. This surplus is caused by a decline in major economies or major consumers of petroleum products. And these consumers are the United
Now,
America, India, or maybe let me bring it to China second and India third. So these three countries are the major consumers of oil, and in recent times, their demand for petroleum products have declined. And if demand declines, it means that excess supply of petroleum products on the market. So it has made the price of petroleum products stable on the international market. I don't see Israel-Iran conflict having any impact on petroleum prices because the escalation of that conflict depends on the American election, and I don't think that in that near to this election, America will allow Israel to maybe have some missiles in Iran or maybe block Iran's ability to supply its oil on the international market, because Iran also has the ability to block the supply of oil from the Strait of Hormuz. And I don't think that that will escalate prices of petroleum products, and that affects maybe the incumbent candidate in the American election. So Iran will not have any Iran-Israel escalation. The demand impact, also the perspective of the OPEC barrels per day will have an of oil, and that is going to create a lot of surplus in the coming days and years. Also, Libya, for instance, also come on stream with about 640 barrels per day supply into the market, and because of the surplus that we are getting, the other non-OPEC alliance members or no OPEC members, including America, Canada, Guyana, and Brazil, are also supplying a lot of products, petroleum products on the market. For example, in this year alone, they've supplied about 1.5 million barrels per day to the market, compared to a demand growth of about 900,000 barrels. So we are getting a lot of surplus, and that is the way. Demand and supply are the major determinants of oil prices in recent times. For Iran and Israel, I don't think that they will have any impact on oil prices.
All right, Benjamin, quickly, based on the current market trends and, of course, external factors, what, in your view or projection, do you foresee happening in the next pricing window? What will be the key variables?
Fortunately for us, I think that NPA has already published indicators for the next pricing window. And I think that in the next window, based on the data that NPA has published, if we have a stable stability, because most of the time locally we use historical data to set prices for subsequent windows. So price of petrol will likely remain same. The export price will likely remain same beginning 1st November. Price of diesel will likely decline in the 1st of November. Price of also LPG is also likely going to decline based on this data that NPA has published.
Very well. Thank you so much, Benjamin Nsia, an energy expert, speaking to us on this latest development we are following up for you. Grateful joining us, Benjamin. You're still watching Business Life. We are back with more. Please stay. A senior manager financial advisor at Deloitte, Dennis Brown, has expressed optimism about the economy in the coming days following the affirmation of Ghana's long-term foreign currency IDR at RD. Fitch has also affirmed CC rating on Ghana's US dollar-dominated notes, partly guaranteed by the International Development Association, part of the World Bank Group, due to October 30 or 2030, and subsequently withdrawn the rating. Now, reacting to this development, Dennis Brown said this move will drive investors to the country, which will propel growth.
That's what we've always wanted, right? To be able to attract investors. I mean, they come in by way of foreign direct inflows to set up businesses, create jobs, expand the economy. And there can only be just a few, downsides, really. Because, when you look at it, it's really the foreign direct inflows that helps really and drives economic growth, right? And that is what we are looking for. So not to bother ourselves with what the downsides may be. Just this is precisely what we want, to be able to attract investors into the economy, and for that to translate into economic growth, creation of jobs and industries all over, and any other benefit that comes with it.
And to some other stories, the president of Academic City University College, Professor Fred McBonhonry, has advised the Bank of Ghana against over-regulating the fintech space in the country. According to him, this could stifle innovation in the fintech ecosystem. Speaking to Joy Business at the 2024 Fintech for Inclusion Summit, he said Ghana's fintech regulatory framework should be in line with local standards. More in this report.
For Inclusion Summit 2024, hosted by the Academic City University College, explored how technology, finance, and innovative policies can converge to foster financial inclusion and social impact. Speaking to Joy Business, Professor Magbangoluri urged the central bank to explore innovative ways to support the fintech ecosystem.
Well, so in general, one of the major challenges you have for policy failure is when you don't look at the whole system as a whole, or you don't bring the right stakeholders in at the very early stages of the conversation. So I'm hoping that the bank, and the bank is represented here at this conference, I hope bank will engage stakeholders in the forums that allow us to develop very informed regulatory frameworks. what I often see in our regulatory framework is that events that occur somewhere is usually transported here. So if the European Union has a fintech regulation, then Ghana must also have a fintech regulation, which is good. But we have to make sure that these fintech regulations are within the context of our reality. Oftentimes, the environments are different. And so we need to, just like vehicles, you know, when you're driving on the Ghanaian street today, you have to stretch your hand to beg somebody to enter. But what if we had a special tail light that tells you, please, I want to enter, right? Or thank you. Usually what happens, you have the double flash, thank you, which means that we need to develop vehicles here that are amenable to our reality here. So the basic point is that we have to make sure that the regulatory framework is in conformity with the practical realities of living in Ghana and in this sub-region. And if we over-regulate, that kills innovation also.
Chief Executive Officer for Leshego, Ni Amankra Tete, commended the central bank for its support to the sector.
Let me be first to say that the BOG is doing their very best within the circumstances, and they are actually doing a lot in terms of governance. I think for me the challenge is that what are savings and loans companies achieving for you? If you remember what I said in my speech, savings and loans companies are actually serving 7.6 million customers who are really that part of the economy that really needs tendering.
The summit brought together diverse stakeholders, including industry professionals, regulators, academicians, and students to address the most pressing issues in the fintech and digital economy landscape.
Thanks so much for watching Business Live for today. I am Pius Kojobaka. We have more stories for you on myjoyonline.com/business. Do visit the portal and get yourselves updated. Grateful serving you.